So sometimes we have negative exponents. And why would this happen? Well, let's think about this. Let's say you had a to the third power over a to the fifth power. Now what we learned previously was, we have more a's in the denominator, and so it would be 1 over a squared, because you'd take 5 minus 3. But now let's go back to that rule that says, well, when we divide, we subtract exponents. So we're going to be a rebel and say, I'm going to follow that first rule and take the exponent in the numerator and subtract the exponent in the denominator. Well, what's 3 minus 5? Negative 2. And so a to the negative 2 has to equal 1 over a squared. So here comes the rule. The rule says if you have, usually they use it b to the negative n, that equals 1 over b to the nth. That is the rule for a negative exponent. It's the one we almost always give to students. But we also have another piece to that. And I like this textbook because they explain the other piece. If you have 1 over b to the negative n, you could write that as b to the nth power. Okay? So if it's already negative and in the denominator, then it's going to come up to the numerator. And you could run that rule the other way, like we did on the other one. You won't see this as much, the rules for exponents listed that way, but it's a good one to remember. So it's all about location. When you have a negative exponent, it doesn't make the expression positive or negative. It says where the base is going to be. Is it going to be in the numerator or is it going to be in the denominator? So it's all about location, location, location. All right, so you'll see some examples and hopefully that will help it to make more clear. All right, so our first example, we have z to the negative 3. So I'm going to write it as 1 over z cubed. So to get rid of that negative on the exponent, I've got to change its location. I tell my students they're not happy where they're living, so they're going to move downtown. Okay, so this is the answer. Now you might be saying, well, why can't I just leave it z to the negative 3? I'm okay with a negative exponent. Generally, when we're simplifying, we don't want our answers to have negative exponents. Okay? All right. So now we have 10 to the negative 7. So we're going to move it downtown. It's going to be 1 over 10 to the 7th. And I'm not going to multiply that out. Let's leave it like that. All right. Now, in the next example, you have p to the negative 8. But, well, no, you don't. You have 1 over p to the negative 8. So now this is a base that's not happy living downtown, so he's going to move uptown. And so it's going to be equal to p to the positive 8. And that's going to be the answer. So if you're not happy where you're living, you're moving either uptown or downtown. You only have a choice of being either in the numerator or being in the denominator. All right, this last one, well, he's not happy living downtown, so he's going to move uptown. So he's going to be 4 to the positive 3, 4 cubed. Now that's a fairly small number, so I probably would multiply it out. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Okay, so that's how you take care of negative exponents. You move them. Either they're in the numerator and they go to the denominator, or they're in the denominator and they go to the numerator.